Patrick and this is Brian. Together we're Just Got Played. We're at Dice Tower Con 2016, having an incredible time. We're staying out late playing games till 4 o'clock in the morning every single day, and then getting up bright and early so we can film for you. We just got done playing Dave Killingsworth's Lord of Rock. Also, co-creator is Dave Ferguson, is also a game designer on this one, and he's a good friend of ours both. So join us for Lords of Rock. All right, excellent. Okay. Brian, tell us all about Lords of Rock.
I can't do the impression, but sure. Lords of Rock is a 2 to 5 player game in which the players are assuming the role of a pantheon of gods, and so it's obviously polytheistic. You've got the Odin mythology, or the Norse mythology, the Egyptian mythology, the Aztec mythology, and what's the other one? It escapes me right now, but there's a couple other pantheons that you get to choose. Oh, Greek. How could I forget the Greek mythos?
That's your favorite, right?
It is,
you
yeah.
Love Greek.
Well, I love them all. So, but and anyways, so you're assuming the role of one of the different mythos or pantheons of gods, and it's sort of, I think it's like sort of like a, not necessarily a post-apocalyptic, but the gods are now fighting over all of the souls, but rather than the traditional route of warfare and just worship and spreading religion that way, the gods have all said, okay, we're going to make this pact, and we're all going to battle for the souls, but we're going to do it through rockin' and putting on awesome concerts and trying to get the most number of souls at different venues.
It's a battle of the bands for gods.
For gods, yeah, and for souls, but by gods.
Yeah, yes, what he said.
Yeah. So basically, the first part of the game, it's a card game, and there's drafting involved. And the drafting part is you're going to draft what select 4 members for your band. One of them is going to be the leader god, and then you're going to his basically supporting roles or supporting band members. Each of the gods have a primary skill and a secondary skill, and the different skills are like vocals, bass, guitar, and percussion or drums. And they have their primary skill is going to have a much higher number usually, and the secondary skill is a lower. But there's sometimes like a sliding scale trade-off in those. So when you're drafting it, you can kind of draft your band to be really good at venues that are going to be, favoring vocals and percussion or something like that. So there's a whole mix, there's a whole strategy in just drafting your bands. Then you first are dealt out a set of venues, and those venues are going to say, okay, here's how many points or how many souls this venue is worth if you win first, second, third, fourth, or fifth place. And it's also going to tell you what skills are going to be key to winning that venue. So you have that information to start with before you do your drafting. Then once each player's drafted their band, they flip it over and reveal it, and then everyone also has what they call a set list hand of cards, and these are basically the songs that you're going to play or the moves that you're going to do, and it can be either attacks against the other player, or they can be like stiff hands, I think was one of the cards, and it gives them -1 to playing their
groupies.
Yeah, groupies was another card.
And we'll be sending out applications for anyone that would be like to be our groupies.
Well, we have one at least.
Do we?
So yes. But so anyways, you have your set list cards, and so basically the way that the turn structure works is whoever the first player is, and the first player is basically the anchor band. They lay out they have the option of basically going last, so they get to see what all happens. The next player then throws out a venue, right, and then it proceeds from there. And players can either pass or play a set list card. Once everyone passes, that ends that turn, and then you tally up the scores of the skills that are needed at that venue. You tally up the scores of each of the different bands, plus any of the set list card bonuses that you're going to get, and whoever has the highest place is going to take the lion's share of all of the souls for that battle, and then it goes all the way down, and then it kind of just then you draw more cards. I think you draw up to 3 cards per turn usually to replace your set list. With that, Patrick, what would you say is your favorite thing about Lords of Rock?
Like Brian said, there's a mechanic in the game where you get your venues first, my venues first, and then you draft out your gods. And that's the major mechanic of the game. You're trying to set up those gods to perform the best in that. So you want, if your hand happened to get lucky and you have you know, venues that really like singing, so you want to make your hand more like directed towards vocals or lead guitar or whatever. I really got immersed. I got competitive during that point. I'm like, oh, this is going to be really, really cool. I really hope we take the Coliseum, or I really hope we take, I don't know, Stonehenge or wherever they were playing at.
The Miskatonic University.
Miskatonic. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I got competitive with it. And it's a little simple card game that kind of drew me in. So in those first 2 rounds, I was drawn in. That's what I'm going with. And for you, what's the one that you like the most?
My favorite thing, I like the concept of blending the different pantheons, as that they're warring factions, but they're doing it through music, and the artwork was great. You know, both on the venue cards and just, you know, just the depictions of each of the gods. So I definitely love the artwork in this one. But what would you say is the thing that you like least about Lords of Rock?
All right, so while I was drawn in for the first few rounds, by that last round, that last round was extraordinarily swingy. One thing it is I think the point-wise, they're going to keep it tight. You're going to be very, very close between the players through the whole game. If I'm playing this game, if I remember correctly, and it plays out like the few times we played it. It's a very tight game, so you never feel like you're way, way lost. You don't need a catch-up mechanic, and you don't feel like you're hanging in the noose. But that last round seemed very, very swingy to me. So if you're a staunch player and you're super critical on strategy, this has got some luck to it. It doesn't make it not fun, but it can if you're not a person that doesn't enjoy high luck in a game. And there's one thing that you had to choose that you like the least.
If there's one thing that I had to choose that I like the least, I love the drafting part, but but I would have to say sometimes it can get a little mathy, or if you suffer from a little bit of AP, like I do sometimes, it could take, some turns could take a little bit longer, because you got to calculate out, okay, what's my band's core value first to win this venue, you know, with all the leads and stuff like that. But then you also got to look at what each of your opponent's values are and keep track of that. And then you got to then calculate, okay, how many of my set list cards, bonus points do I need to try to play or to try to cancel out the other players? And then, you know, try to count the cards in their hand to see like if they were going to go all in on this round in order to win. So for players that suffer from AP, this might not be one that, you know, or usually the players with the AP don't really care so much. It's the other players that are playing with the players with AP that care. So that would probably be the thing I would like least, is I'd have to just take that into consideration when deciding to play and inflict pain on some other players. But that could be a good thing. So again, Lords of Rock is coming to Kickstarter very, very soon. So make sure you jump over there and back for a couple copies.
I'm Patrick, that's Brian. Together we just got played and we rocked out at Dice Tower.
Yeah!
Excellent review. Thank you very much, Brian. It was excellent. You did an amazing job, my friend.
That's Garth, right?
What kind of production is this?